I wonder if the podcast almost has hurt him in this process.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today. An off-season edition of Lakers Talk starts right now.
Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I'm just going to go with the theme. It's an emergency Lakers talk tonight on a Thursday night. Granted, this was already scheduled for tonight before we got the news about JJ Redick. Good timing right there. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. It's official. Lakers finally got their coach. It is going to be JJ Redick. There were some terms out there that I saw that were 4 years, $32 million, so about $8 a year. I think we've been waiting for it. I don't think it's a shock or a surprise. Actually, Travis and I were doing our show this morning, and we started our conversation like, hey, what's the holdup here? What's the wait? What are we waiting on? Why are they taking so long? Hasn't this decision shouldn't have already been made by now? If they wanted to wait till the end of the NBA Finals, okay, cool. That ended on Monday night. We know Boston got an NBA championship. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the important thing is, the Lakers have made a decision, and they got their head coach, and it's JJ Redick. A couple things we're going to do on the show tonight. As I mentioned, as we typically do on Lakers Talk to begin with, especially shows like tonight where you have, it was about a week and a half ago or so, it was Dan Hurley turns down the Lakers, and we end up doing Lakers Talk. It just happened to be on that Monday night. A lot of people had an opinion about it. I'm sure a lot of people got an opinion on JJ Redick. So if you want to be a part of the show, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. I guess the question I'd ask Laker fans is, what do you like? What do you dislike? I think there's a couple different ways to look at the hiring of JJ Redick. If you're out there and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I really just don't like the hire. I wish they got somebody that had more experience. I wish they got somebody that already had a proven track record. I mean, look at the Western Conference. Look at this roster. This guy's coming in to be a first-time head coach in the NBA, has never been an assistant, has never coached at any other level, and he's taken on the Los Angeles Lakers job. If you feel that way, I'll tell you what, it's completely fair, and I can't really argue against you if you feel that way. If you feel the other way, you know what? I'm really optimistic about JJ Redick. I do think that this guy could be a coach for the Lakers in 3 years, in 4 years, in 5 years. Something that this franchise has failed to do. They've completely failed on sustainability. They've completely failed on putting together an organization and putting together a coaching staff where we know year in and year out, yeah, this is not a revolving door. They have not done that. So if you're looking at the situation and saying, I think J.J. Redick can be the right guy, there are some examples of coaches that became former NBA players that became head coaches and have had some success. If you feel that way, I can't really argue against you. I can't argue because how am I supposed to know whether J.J. Redick's going to be a good hire or not when I literally have nothing to compare to? I think it's a risky hire. I think anytime you bring in a coach, especially somebody who's coaching the Lakers, especially because you have a flawed roster and your two superstars, yes, no question about it, are superstars, but one's going to be 40 a couple of months into the season, and the other one, at times, it looks like the best player in the NBA, and other times you're looking and saying, where the hell is he? I think it's going to be a very, very interesting season for the Lakers, and I think you can argue on either side whether you're excited or you're pessimistic about the hiring. I can't argue against you, but I do want to get your, obviously get your thoughts and everything else. I'm going to flip to the front office here real quick. Rob Pelinka is the only person that I'm paying attention to moving forward. And I'm only paying attention to him because if we're sitting here in a couple years, if we're sitting here next year and there's some question marks about the coach, or if we're sitting here 2 years from now and the Lakers were to make a decision and say, you know what, it just didn't work out with JJ Redick. Here we go again. Lakers are going to go out and try to get another coach. I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. I'm just going off of what's happened with the Lakers over the last handful of years. This is what's happened with the Lakers. Every couple of years, they have a new head coach. This hire to me is less about JJ Redick, and it's more about Rob Pelinka. This hire to me is more about your front office and making sure that they don't screw this one up. And I genuinely mean that. They can't screw this one up. Because if Darvin Ham was not the right head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers over 2 years, that's on your front office. If Frank Vogel was not the right head coach for your Lakers over the course of 3 years, and that was primarily because a trade for Russell Westbrook that didn't happen, and you can't blame that on Frank Vogel, that's on your front office. I want to continue to any decisions that happens for the Lakers, and especially from a coaching perspective. If a player misses a free throw when the game's tied at 105 in the fourth quarter with one possession left, and you lost that game because the player missed a free throw, all right, that's not the coach's fault, and that's not Rob Pelinka's fault, and that's not Jeannie Buss's fault. That's just a predicament that happened during the game. But if you keep going through head coaches, that's on your front office. And that's what I mean by this hire. I pay more attention to Rob Pelinka than I do JJ Redick, because if it works well, I'm going to compliment Rob Pelinka. And if it doesn't work well, I'm going to look at Rob Pelinka and say that's another bad hire from your front office. That's just the way it goes. And I don't think this is shocking or it's surprising, but that's how it works. The one thing as a Los Angeles Laker fan that I like to see from this team more than anything else, I want to see a sustainable franchise. I want to see a team that we look at and we say, all right, that coach has been there for 4 years now. This is what they've done. Not all of it has been perfect, but damn, has that coach developed the young players. He's developed some of the older players. There is a great, what's the best way to put it? There's a great chemistry between the team. That's what I want to see. And if that doesn't happen with this latest hire, for a coach who has no experience coaching in the NBA, then that's going to be obviously on Rob Pelinka. I don't think it's going to be on JJ Redick. Because here's what can happen with JJ Redick. JJ Redick can be the head coach for the Lakers for a couple of years. It could not work out. And then he could eventually just go on and get more and more experience until, 5-7 years down the road. Maybe he's in a predicament, he has more experience, and it eventually did work out. If it doesn't work out with JJ Redick in LA, I think it has less to do with JJ Redick, and I think it has more to do with the people that put him in that position. So, and I understand that that's a strong stance, but this is where the Lakers are right now. And we know what their expectations are. This is the expectations of the Lakers. It happens every single year. It's ridiculous. I don't think Laker fans, and I'm included on this as well, I think we live in this fairy tale world where if you're not competing for a championship, then it's not a successful season. But that's what Dr. Jerry Buss built. That's what the Minneapolis Lakers before that, what they built. That's what this franchise has been all about, and I think this is a critical hiring for the Lakers. I really do. I'm not going to sit here, and I've kind of already said that for me personally, there is a little bit of I'd like to have seen a coach with more experience, but there wasn't a slam-dunk coach that was waiting out there. That was part of my concern with the Lakers. Part of my concern was when they fired Darvin Ham, there was not this – okay, hey, Darvin Ham is gone, and we have exactly who our guy is going to be. Whether you like the Phoenix Suns franchise or you don't, they had a plan when they fired Frank Vogel. Immediately, they went out and got Mike Budenholzer, and that was that. I think with the Lakers, there was a lot of momentum going towards JJ Redick, and then all of a sudden that stopped, and for a 4 or 5 day period, they were all in on Dan Hurley, and then they eventually got back to JJ Redick, and that was that. This morning we were talking a little bit about the terms. If 4 years was a good enough contract, I thought that's plenty. I think JJ Redick, it's up to him now to prove that he is the right head coach, that he can coach in the league, that he can manage these personalities, that he's not just somebody that is good looking and understands the game. Don't get me wrong, I understand he understands the game, but how do you treat, or not even how you treat, how do you juggle different personalities, different stars? What happens when one player is upset at another player or one player is upset at you? What happens in a predicament when you're trying to gain the trust of the players, you fail, and they look at you? Do they lose a little bit of trust? All that's going to be fascinating to watch. Cap was just talking about from an entertainment perspective, he's excited about that. Don't worry about the entertainment. The entertainment's going to be there. The question is just going to be, will the Lakers be winning games or will they not? Is this going to be the right coach? Is it not? Those are the things that I think are going to be absolutely the most important, and it's going to be fun to watch. And, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm curious to hear once they announce JJ Redick official, once the Lakers do their presser. I want to hear from Rob Pelinka. I want to hear from the franchise. And then a week from today is the NBA draft. We're going to find out if the Lakers, obviously, did they draft Bronny James? What did they do with their number 17 pick, the 29th, which is a week and a half away? We're going to find out what LeBron does before you know it. July 1st is there. NBA free agency is going to start. What are guys like D'Angelo Russell going to do? There's a lot over this next 30 days that are probably going to determine what the Lakers season looks like for this upcoming year. So it should be fun. It should be exciting. And I'm sure Laker fans got a lot of thoughts on it. We come back, we'll take some of your phone calls. Trevor Lane of Lakers Nation coming up at 7:30, 877-710-ESPN. Stay right here. We're doing a little Lakers talk tonight on 710 ESPN.
Are you ready for Go?
There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
across the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
.710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app. This fall, the new home of the USC Trojans.
The new home of the USC Trojans.
The Trojans are back. The USC Trojans play on LA's mega sports station. That's right. USC football, USC men's basketball, and USC women's basketball are on 710 ESPN coming this fall. 710 ESPN, the new home of the USC Trojans.
rolls on.
Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, it became official earlier today. JJ Redick, new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's kind of funny because I think some people are very excited about it. I think other people not really sure what to feel. I fall on the latter. I don't really have too much emotion towards this hire because he's never coached before. Just simple as that. When Phil Jackson became the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, you knew you were excited because of what Phil had accomplished. Even guys, Frank Vogel, I felt like, hey, Vogel, guy's been in the Eastern Conference Final before. I loved how his Indiana Pacers team competed against the Miami Heat, LeBron's Miami Heat. But anyways, there's certain coaches you got excited about. I don't really have too much. I was even excited when Luke Walton became the head coach of the Lakers, primarily because of his ties, and it felt like Luke was going to do well with the Lakers. The expectations were a lot different at that time. But JJ Redick's going to be asked to be the coach of the Lakers and to produce right away. That's just going to come with the job. Potential Lakers assistants from Shams Charania, The Athletic, Scott Brooks, Rajon Rondo, Jared Dudley, and Sam Cassell. I did see Woj put out a tweet that the Lakers are looking for experience. Better get him experience. He's going to need it. He's going to need – those assistants are going to be as important as JJ Redick. They are. Those assistants are going to be critical to how the Lakers – fill out that coaching staff. And something else that it's going to be critical for the Lakers as well is you can't cut corners when it comes to those assistants. If it's going to take a sizable contract to get the right assistant to JJ Redick, then you got to go get him. And I'm curious to see how the Lakers will round up the rest of that staff. That's going to be fascinating to watch. All right, let's take some calls here. Let's go to Robbie in the LBC. Robbie, what's going on? You're on Lakers Talk.
Hey, Alan. My reaction to J.J. Redick is a 50-50 because I believe he never coached before. And I'm thinking with him, maybe we could make it back to the conference finals if possible. And maybe then if we could sign like a DeMar DeRozan or someone, or a DeJounte Murray or Bojan Bogdanovic like that. And what's your take on that? Let's
Appreciate
go
it,
with
Robbie.
Lakers.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling in. I think the piece about the 50-50, I'm not sure how to feel about JJ Redick, that part I agree with. As far as what the Lakers do come free agency, seems pretty quiet. It's not like, for some reason, and maybe this is because the NBA Finals was still going on, we had a trade happen earlier today. The Western Conference only got better, in my opinion, with Alex Caruso joining the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on Crunch Time when I'm talking to Funches and DeAndre. But some of the other players out there, I think a lot of it's going to depend on what D'Angelo Russell does. Is D'Angelo Russell going to opt into his contract? If he does, he's going to instantly become trade bait. So we'll see from that perspective. Devin in L.A. Devin, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Slee? I just want to start off by thanking you for the free Lakers therapy session. It's always needed here in Lakerland. I just want to say about the J.J. Redick hire, I mean, I am excited about J.J. Redick. His demeanor, obviously the X's and O's he talks on the podcast. I am very excited about this hire. My last point, I want to talk about King James, the GOAT. King James, the Lakers have given you the coach. The Lakers have traded for the player that you wanted to play with, and the Lakers will also be drafting your son. We need you to bring us another ring to L.A. Sleep, I'm out.
I appreciate it, Devin. Thank you for calling in. Well, I don't know how much of it's going to come down to Bron for that ring. I think so much of it is going to come down to everybody else. So much of it is going to come down to not just Anthony Davis, even though I know that's an easy answer, but no team in the NBA, and we've seen LeBron's greatness over the years, and we've seen times where LeBron, especially at this stage of his career, it's like, all right, Bron, hey, you got to get back on defense. You got to do this, you got to do that. But ultimately, is it going to come down to LeBron of whether the Lakers win a championship or not? LeBron's going to give you, if he's given you anywhere near what he's done for 20-plus years, 25, 7, and 7. The question was always with the Lakers, what are these other dudes going to do? What is D'Lo going to do, and Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, and just go down the list of all these other players. I thought the Boston Celtics, watching them, was a great example. Even Dallas getting to the NBA Finals, it's like, yeah, Luka's going to do his thing. Yeah, for the most part, Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to do their thing. But damn, was Drew Holiday not a difference maker, or Derek White not a difference maker, or P.J. Washington in the couple rounds before they got to the NBA Finals, or Lively, or any of these other guys. A lot of times it has to do with your role players. So the accommodating Bron thing, LeBron's going to have a decision to make in the next, by the 29th, he's going to have an opportunity to whether he wants to opt out of his contract. And most people think he'll use his player option to opt out of his contract and then probably sign another 2-year deal, something along those lines. I heard a lot of people talking today, predominantly on the national media, of, well, let's hold up here for a second. Let's see what happens with LeBron James first. There's no guarantee that he's going to sign on the 29th. He might not sign on the 29th, but I don't see, and I've never at one point thought that LeBron James is going to go somewhere else. I just haven't, at least in this period that we're in right now. And if Bronny James ends up somewhere else, okay, then Bronny James ends up somewhere else. That's not going to be, I don't think that's going to be because the Lakers chose to not draft him at 55. It's because another team went out and got him. If JJ Redick was not the head coach, I still think LeBron James would have been here. I don't think, and this might just be me, I don't think LeBron was ever going anywhere, and I think the accommodating to LeBron, I think the Lakers have done a pretty damn good job of accommodating to their stars. That's probably one of the reasons why Darvin Ham isn't here right now. Accommodating to their stars is probably why Russell Westbrook was on this roster. So they haven't done everything for Bron, but I think they've always kept him into consideration as they should. That's what happens with stars. Joe in the IE. Joseph, what's going on?
What's up, Flea? How you been?
I'm good, brother. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready. I'm just happy we just finally got this phase of the off season over. I really didn't care who was the coach after a while. Just let's get this part over with so we can go figure out our pieces for our team. One thing that has been kind of bothering me a little bit, though, just on the roster front, just not to take away from JJ Redick, but I just feel like we kind of undervalued D'Angelo Russell, kind of. It's like we're like throwing him away to me. It's like for some reason it's like we underappreciate his talents. It's like we're just looking to dump him. For some reason I feel like he was our third best player last year, and even though he had a couple bad games in the playoffs, it's like he's not even considered to even be able to come back, it seems. It's like if we can't find someone better to replace him, we should keep D'Angelo Russell.
It's interesting, Joe. And I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in, because I think what you just described there, and I agree with you. It is a little refreshing to finally get the coaching part done, so that we can start talking about the other stuff. Like I said, look, drafting is in a week. Bron could start making a decision as early as the 29th. July 1st is 10 days away. We'll get into NBA free agency. And then a lot of decisions got to be made with the Lakers. So you're right that this is good just to kind of shift towards that. And I'm sure next week Lakers will do their presser, and they'll do whatever they do with JJ Redick. But the attention is going to shift right away to the rest of the roster. What you said about D'Angelo Russell, and a couple weeks ago I talked about D'Lo. And I thought it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago, something along those lines. I almost felt like it was too early, but I wanted to talk about him. I agree with you that I do feel like the Lakers want him to sign just so they could try to package him and put him in some type of deal. However, I'm on that boat. You know, what you just said about D'Angelo Russell, about being the third best player on your team, you're not wrong. At times, he was the third best player on your team. What you said about a couple bad games in the playoffs, you're right. When he played well, the Lakers' chances of winning a game, I think, went up, but you never really know what you were going to get from him. I don't know what it is. I'm just not sold on D'Angelo Russell. Maybe I never will be. Maybe he's not his style of basketball. Maybe it's his demeanor or personality. I don't know what it is, but when I look at D'Angelo Russell, it doesn't scream winner to me. And I think there is a reason why he's been with so many different teams over the years. I hate to say it because I feel like he can't find a home, or he's had trouble finding a home, and here we are in the same predicament. And, like I said, if he opts into his contract, then I'm assuming the Lakers are going to try to trade him. And if he doesn't opt into his contract and he ends up signing somewhere else, then the Lakers don't get anything for him, and that would be the worst-case scenario on D'Angelo Russell. Let me squeeze in one more quick caller here. Let's go to Daniel in the OC. What's going on, Daniel?
Yeah, hey, Flea, what's going on, man? I just wanted to say that I remember right before when the season ended, they were talking about maybe possibly bringing a third star to L.A., and so it's going to be interesting to see maybe once everything unravels, if that's going to happen. That'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I don't – Daniel, thank you for calling in. I don't know if that's going to be an option now. I think J.B. Bickerstaff left Cleveland because I'm assuming Donovan Mitchell didn't want him there. And if that was the name before, it doesn't sound like that player is going to be there. I don't know what's going to happen with Trae Young. I do know he left Clutch and he went to CAA. Maybe that has an effect on it. Maybe it doesn't. But the 3-star and the opportunity for – I've always said this, that I'm okay with a third star if it's the right player that you feel like matches with Anthony Davis for the present and the future. But the NBA right now is showing that you better have depth. I mean, the Phoenix Suns are a fantastic example of that. You better have depth. You better have a number of different players that can contribute. You better have 6, 7, 8 guys in the playoffs minimum. I mean, minimum is 6 guys, but you got to be able to rely on other guys. I don't know about the 3-star, and I don't know if that's going to come to fruition, but that's up to Rob Pelinka in the front office to figure out. When we come back, Trevor Lane of Lakers Nation is going to join us. If you're still on hold, I'll take some more calls after Trevor Lane as well, so we'll do that as well. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN.
There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you
It's
have to
across the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
710 ESPN, and the all-new ESPN LA app. This fall, the new home of the USC Trojans.
The new home of the USC Trojans.
The Trojans are back. The USC Trojans play on LA's mega sports station. That's right. USC football, USC men's basketball, and USC women's basketball are on 710 ESPN. Coming this fall. 710 ESPN, the new home of the USC Trojans. Talk with Alan Slewa.
Can JJ Redick bring that much-needed stability back to the purple and gold?
I hope this decision works out, because if not, the Lakers are critiqued as much as any other team in sports. I hope that when the dust settles, that this hire is something for the present and the future, but there literally is no way of knowing how it will work out.
Nobody talks Lakers like Alan Slewa on Lakers Talk. Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today. Another edition of Lakers Talk continues.
Back to Alan Slewa.
I appreciate you guys being a part of Lakers Talk. We'll go till 8 o'clock tonight. If you're on hold, hang out. We'll try to get some of your calls, 877-710-ESPN. But when we got some big news, we got to go to our guy, Trevor Lane, Lakers Nation, who I think is online probably 22 hours a day breaking down Lakers basketball. So, Trev, thank you for squeezing a quick 10, 12 minutes on our program here. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, Alan. I think that's probably about accurate.
22 hours. No, I went back. I counted all your hours over the last week. It averages out to 22 hours a day.
Yeah, that's about right. That's pretty accurate, I think. I think it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. No, nothing wrong with that. Okay, so listen, I don't think it's a complete shock or a surprise, but I'll ask you this question. Since the Lakers fired Darvin Ham, to us sitting here right now and hiring JJ Redick, what do you think of the process of JJ was on the top of the list? Then there's an all-in push for Dan Hurley. Lakers offer him reportedly 6 years, $70 million, and he declines the Lakers opportunity, and then they settle back with JJ Redick. Can you just talk about the process and the perception that you have about the Lakers in the offseason of finding their next head coach?
Well, it comes across as messy. It just does. It's, they would have been better off just hiring JJ right out of the gate, or give it, a week or two to do a few interviews and then hiring JJ. Because when I don't fault them for going after Dan Hurley. If he's on the market, my goodness, a coach of that caliber that has that kind of a history, yeah, you go after him. I get that. But just the overall perception was that they missed out on the guy that really would have been the great fit, considering they want to build a program moving forward. That's the word. And Dan Hurley would have been that guy. You miss out on him, and then you kind of wind up crawling back to JJ Redick, said, okay, all right, I guess we'll make you the head coach now. The optics aren't as good as it would have been had they just said right out of the gate, no, JJ is our guy. This guy's so impressive. They could have talked him up and all of that. So overall, the optics for the organization, not great. And then it's the worst-kept secret in the NBA, right? I mean, we've known for a month that it was probably going to wind up being JJ Redick, not longer. And now here we finally get to this point, 7 weeks after Darvin Ham was let go. So it was a messy process here for the Lakers, let's face it. It doesn't look great, but at the end of the day, if JJ winds up being the guy that's a coach in LA for the next 10 years, then nobody's going to care.
With that in mind, Trev, we know the resume. JJ Redick a player in the NBA, went to Duke, so was under one of the greatest coaches of all time, and his stops in the NBA, including, I'm just pointing out some of the names, Stan Van Gundy, Doc Rivers, but he has never sat on the bench. He's never been an assistant. He's never been in the college ranks. He's never been overseas as a head coach or an assistant coach, and he's clearly never been a head coach in the NBA. How much does that concern you about this hiring, and how do you just feel overall about deciding that JJ Redick is the guy for the position?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I do believe that he's a very, very bright basketball mind. I do think that with time, he will very quickly adapt to being a head coach in the NBA. You can make the argument that the Lakers, as they're currently constructed, they don't have time for anybody to learn on the job, and that's just what JJ is going to have to do. But, Alan, you're absolutely right. There's some serious concerns here. Again, like you said, he's never coached basketball before. He's never coached professional basketball, college basketball, nothing. And that has to be a concern. You can be the biggest Lakers fan and all in and support everything the team does, and you can still admit that there's a red flag there if you're hiring a guy to coach a veteran team that has never, ever coached before. So that's not to say he can't overcome that, and I look forward to it if he does, but I do think there's reason for fans to be concerned. And the only way, though, to dispel those concerns is to win. And that's it. And we'll see if JJ Redick can do just that. Because if that's the case, then all of that will be forgotten, and it'll all be no big deal. But right now, there's cause for concern here, Alan.
Trevor Lane covers the Lakers for Lakers Nation, does a fantastic job covering the team, joining us here on Lakers Talk. Trev, I spent a little time in the beginning of the show talking about how I'm more the hiring of JJ Redick, to me, has less to do with JJ Redick. It has more to do with Rob Pelinka. And what I mean by that is you can't miss on this one. I know that every franchise says the exact same thing, but the Lakers just go through coaches so often. It really is a terrible sign to have a revolving door as your head coach, or if you have a revolving door with your front office. It's just not a good look. You don't want that. If we're sitting here in a couple years, one of two scenarios can play out. That, hey, JJ Redick was the right coach, and that's whether you're winning or. JJ Redick could be a good coach, and the Lakers don't win a championship. That both things can happen. And frankly, looking at the Western Conference and looking at this Lakers roster, they're falling further behind than going forward. But if we're sitting here in a couple years and this doesn't work out again, and the Lakers fire JJ Redick after 2 or 3 years, I'm just curious to get your take on just how important this hire is for Rob Pelinka and just your perception of what he's done so far and how critical this hire is.
Yeah, I do think this is a very important hire for Rob Pelinka. Look, Darvin Ham is gone. So if there's going to be fingers pointed at the conclusion of next season, mid-season, whenever, Rob Pelinka doesn't have that shield in front of him at this point. So if this doesn't go well, I mean, this is very much a Rob Pelinka hire. Rob was the one who met with JJ initially at the NBA draft combine. He was very much on board with the hiring of JJ Redick. If this does not work out, it's not going to look great for Rob. And as you said, all that's true. The Western Conference is very, very, very difficult. So for Rob, he's risking a lot here. We talk about a big gamble for the Lakers, and it absolutely is. This is a big gamble for Rob Pelinka as well. He needs this to work. He needs this to work out. He needs a big summer, frankly. They've got a lot of ground to catch up on here this summer. They've got to bat 1,000. But with the coaching hire, if it doesn't work out, it's going to come back on Rob, and that may be a tough situation for him to get out of.
Trev, what are you hoping to see? You mentioned the offseason, so a caller called in earlier, which is good perspective, saying, man, I'm just kind of glad that we got our coach, so then we could start focusing on, a week from today is the NBA draft. 10 days from now is July 1st, NBA free agency starts. As you look at the next couple of weeks, the next 30 days, can you give me some, and it's not even really naming players, but some scenarios that you're hoping to see in the offseason, because it's not like the Lakers have a perfect roster. It's not like, oh, the competition's bad, so they could just get there by default and do some real damage because the West isn't good. It's the opposite of both of those. So what are you hoping to see happens in the offseason that you feel like could be really beneficial to the team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for a true physical backup big to be added to the team. I think they're going to need that to take some of the burden off of Anthony Davis and occasionally give them the option to play him at the 4 when the situation calls for it. I think they need some more athleticism in their backcourt, a defensive guard to join that mix there. And we'll see what that ultimately looks like. And I think they could use another 3-and-D wing. Frankly, they need a number of two-way players, guys who can play both offense and defense on this team. They didn't have enough of those guys this past season. The question becomes, are they going to go after a third star, which I don't know if you saw, but Trae Young tweeted out the hourglass emoji shortly after the JJ Redick news was announced. Maybe that's something, maybe that's nothing. But they may pursue a third star. I think most likely, though, we're going to see more of a depth-style build. And I think they're going to keep a good chunk of this team together while making some moves, try to add 1, 2, maybe 3 players that they think will make a difference and help them really build upon last season. What I don't want to see is going all in for a veteran, like a DeMar DeRozan guy going all in after somebody like that who is near the end of their career. And I think I don't want to see them do something where they sacrifice all of their draft capital in desperation just to try to make a win right now move. I think they need to find the right deal at the right value. Much easier said than done. But I just like to see the team make smart moves and have a clear plan coming out of this summer.
Trev, final one from me. What do you want to see happen with D'Angelo Russell?
You know, I don't know what the market is going to bear out for D'Angelo Russell. What I would like to see in an ideal situation, I'd like to see him pick up that player option, and then the Lakers may be able to use him in a trade package, or if not, he's an expiring contract they could look at all year. I think that's unlikely that he's going to do that. I think most likely he will opt out and he will look for a new deal. I don't know if he's going to find that out there on the market or not. Orlando is probably his best chance, but they may have eyes elsewhere. Paul George, Malik Monk, there's going to be Klay Thompson. There's some other names out there they might be looking at. So wouldn't shock me if we wind up seeing D'Lo back with the Lakers in the short term. And then once again, we're talking D'Angelo Russell trades at the trade deadline. I like D'Lo. I hope whether he's with the Lakers or somewhere else that he finds some place that he can finally call home and stay. But I think the Lakers, whether it's now or at the trade deadline, it's probably time to move on because I think the backcourt they've got right now, it's just not good enough come playoff time.
Yeah, and it's a good point. I like the way you put it, just for him to find a home. I think it's impossible for him to call L.A. home because every time he's been on the Lakers and through every stint that he's been on the Lakers, it's always the conversation is, hey, can you trade him? Where are you going to trade him to? How much can you get for him? And I think that, obviously it's no secret that the Lakers have shopped him at the deadline before, and I'm sure if they get the opportunity to shop him again, they will do it. So we'll see what eventually happens there. Trev, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for taking the time. You can follow Trevor Lane. Lakers Nation does a fantastic job, and always appreciate you taking the time, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Alan. Always fun to talk Lakers basketball with you.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. That is Trevor Lane of Lakers Nation. All right, when we come back, your phone calls. So I know we still had a few people that are on hold there, so I'll take a few more of your phone calls. Plus, got a couple NBA stories that we're going to hit on with Crunch Time with Funches and DeAndre. Stay right here. Lakers Talk 710 ESPN.
There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
across the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
You're on hold. Stay there. We're going to get to you in just a second. Funches, what's up, brother? What do you got going on
I
over there?
hate this. Break this to you, and you probably saw this on when you were out or whatever. But the Celtics got one on us, man.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch any of it. Didn't see it. In my mind, it never happened. I don't know how you feel, DeAndre. I don't know how you guys feel. I never watched a second of it. I refuse. Now, what are you going to do? They were the best team.
Yeah.
Their best team left. I don't know if they're. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but it would have been a much better series against Denver or much better series.
Come on, Slee. They had an easy road.
They did, but they also dismantled the Mavs. Made them look like nothing.
Yeah, they sure did.
DeAndre, do you remember last week when Porzingis went down and I tried selling you on, hey, I think we might have a series here?
I do remember that.
Funches, I've never seen someone more disinterested in my pitch of I think we might have a series here. We never had a series.
I thought that it'd go to Game 6 at least. I thought the Celtics. I thought the Mavs would get 2.
Yeah, the game 3, this is how it goes in every 7-game set, right? If you're already down 0-2, the series is game 3. And when Jaylen Brown hit, I think they got it all the way down to 2, maybe 1 or 2. Dallas got it down.
That's right.
Jaylen Brown hits a big shot, under 3, a minute left to go. It goes up to 4. I don't really know what to say. I think the question of, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Boston Celtics. But
take it away, please.
But the East was dismantled, just a joke, or they were just injured. And then in the Western Conference, you got everybody else beating up each other, but it kind of doesn't matter how you get there and how you win. Did you win it all? They did. I'm sure they're going to be the favorites for next year. But
I almost want to say if the Celtics face the Minnesota T-Wolves or the Nuggets or somebody else, they would have lost.
Well, okay, let's just say whether they lose or they don't, it's a real series. They didn't have a real series against Dallas.
That's true. Yeah,
I didn't feel like they had a real series. The only other thing I say to this is, the sustainability. Boston's going to be around for a long time, and I think that's the only thing that matters. This is what kills me about the Lakers is it's really tough for them to build something sustainable. And I looking at Boston, doesn't look like they're going to be in the mix for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Doesn't feel like they're going anywhere.
And to all those Laker fans that we could have had Tatum and Brown and all that stuff. No, you wouldn't. You would have traded him for AD.
Why are you talking about me like that?
You would have traded.
Why are you saying
you would have traded him for AD. So yes, stop saying that on Twitter.
That's kind of interesting. I wonder if because Tatum was such a stud right out the gate.
Yeah. And we took Lonzo Ball before him.
I know. Took Lonzo. What was it?
And then
was the year before?
The draft before, we took Brandon Ingram before Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to think here where Jaylen was taken, but
no, he was taken third. Number 3.
He was taken third?
Yeah, and we took Brandon Ingram at number 2.
All right. Well,
we can do.
Give me some good news here. Tell me something else.
Well,
what
I don't have really good news, but we gotta pour a little something out for Jerry West.
Absolutely.
Legend, go ahead, talk about it.
No, that's right. That we haven't done a show since the passing of Jerry West.
No, man. The logo.
Travis and I spent a lot of time doing the show last week when he did pass. I don't know what you want me to tell you, but he's the greatest executive in the history of sports, in my opinion. And what's so great about Jerry West, pick which era he affected. Is it the 60s as a player? Is it the 70s or part of the 70s as a player? Is it the 80s as an executive with the Showtime era? Is it the 2000s or the mid-90s when he's making the move for Kobe and getting Shaq, ripping Shaq away from the Orlando Magic? And, that's my era. So I think he has an effect on so many different eras. Oh, by the way, Michael Thompson was talking about it when he was in, saying that he has more to do with the era of the Golden State Warriors as anybody, because he's the one that said, you're not trading Klay Thompson. If you trade Klay Thompson, then I'm going to leave your franchise. And the Golden State Warriors won 4 championships.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Some guys, they have a second act in career where they do something else. And Jerry West, he as a player, he turned to be a good executive, but then again, he turned out to be a really good consultant because he saved those Warriors teams.
He has an effect on a lot of different franchises. Right. Great stuff there, brother. I do want to squeeze in a couple calls here before we get out of here. So let me go to Harlan in L.A. Harlan, what's going on, brother? You're on Lakers Talk.
Hey, Slee. I really like your work. I follow you and Trav are both great. I really enjoy your Laker perspective. What I want to say is, the Lakers, the front office is in shambles. They blew the Dan Hurley thing. He turned down a similar offer to Kentucky a month before. So Pelinka should have known that. Plus, if he was your guy, you should not have let him leave the building. Okay? They should have known what it was for. I don't know why Pelinka isn't fired. He's never been very good. As you just mentioned, we had Jerry West, the best of the best of the best, right? Can't compare. What I think Jeannie Buss should do, in my opinion, she should hire a consultant like Bob Myers, who's the architect of the Warriors, who knows the NBA, who's deep ingrained in it. And they should just talk and figure out a game plan for the long term, and they should be able to find the top assistant GM that would be a better GM than what they've got and do the same thing for a coach. Okay,
Harlan, I appreciate you calling in. I wanted to let you get your take, but I do want to get a couple more of these calls because we're running out of time here. Ja'Cory in Santa Ana. Ja'Cory, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going tonight? I just had a couple points to make. So we have right now LeBron James and AD, two of the top 10 players of the NBA right now, and currently we can barely get out of we barely can get into the play-ins. We now got JJ Redick, a unproven coach, and I'm just seeing how that equals up to championships. We also have LeBron James that's been chasing a lot of personal accomplishments more than he's chasing championships. So I'm just trying to figure out that, we Laker fans and all we really trying to do is win. So how's that adding up?
It's a good call. It's fair. And it's tough for me to argue any of what you just mentioned. I do feel like LeBron wants to win. I do still feel like that's a priority but the hesitation on JJ Redick, I get it. I completely understand it. The hesitation on can they make this happen with the roster that they have, and I think the best thing that you mentioned out of everything, ultimately at the end of the day, the Lakers are trying to stack up one thing. It's championships. And I don't say that. I know it's so easy to say that, and maybe I'm hallucinating here, but it is the reality. And you know what Boston just did? They got number 18. So they're in front of the Lakers again, so there's some added motivation, and we'll see what the Lakers can do. JJ Redick, officially the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. I'm back on with Travis Rogers tomorrow. Thank you to the entire crew. Thank you to Michael Funches, Mario Ruiz, to Andre Hawkins. Thank you to Cody. LA, have a great rest of your night.